Alrighty, I think we're live. Pretty sure. Let's see what we're doing here. We have our Gargoyle Fighter of Chabriados. This guy is really strong. This is very exciting. So what I want to do today is some extended endgame work. Okay, well, let's take a look at skills here. So this particular build is I don't know, it's one of my favorites. It's very strong at almost every single point of the entire game. And there are several ways you can do it, but the overall point is that you end up worshipping Chabriados, who slows your movement speed down but gives you huge stat boosts, and is basically good at all points of the game. And you just use that to become an unstoppable juggernaut. It's pretty fantastic. Okay. So the point that we're at, we have completed pretty much everything except for Hell, Pandemonium, and the Tomb. One of my regular viewers just asked if I had the level 9 translocation spell online, and I pretty much do. It's at 21%, which is very risky, but it's super cool. So yes, we have 5 runes? Yes, 5 runes so far. We have retrieved them from, we had Spider and Shoals. We got the runes there, and then we went to the vaults and got the silver rune, and then we cleared all the way down to Zot 5. Oops. Oh, goodness. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we have a weird little vault with a fire orb and a cage. But yeah, we have the orb available to us. We can grab it at any time, which is pretty exciting. Doing some extended end game streaming. This is the first time that I've gotten to stream this. I do have videos on my YouTube channel. There's a link beneath, it's the little cauldron icon beneath the video. I think it should be showing. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I have done this before. This is the second Gargoyle of Chabriados that I've run, and I really like the build. It's just so much fun. Okay, so stuff that we have. We have some really good gear. Yeah, we can look at some of the individual pieces. The -2 Hat of the Alchemist gives you basically one of every resistance. It's amazing. Being a gargoyle, we don't need resist electricity or resist poison because we have those naturally. But the fact that it gives you fire, cold, negative energy, magic resistance, mutation, and corrosion resistance, it's just excellent. And the -2 isn't really all that bad. I mean, hey Genja, good to see you. All right. Oh, hi. Hello to Mr. Bartel's class. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited. This is my favorite part of the game, and it's really neat to be doing this. Okay, so I think the next step for us is Pandemonium. We have our little stash here in the vestibule. There are the 4 branches, which are Cocytus, the Iron City of Dis, Gehenna, and Tartarus. But we are going to Pandemonium first, because Pandemonium is a really great source of experience, and we're not quite at where we need to be. We need translocations up to about level 24, spellcasting to about level 20. Armor, we're training because it reduces spellcasting penalty for armors of all sizes, but we have a pretty good one, actually. I've never found this particular one before, but and I don't know if this is unique or if it's just a random artifact, but it's awesome. It's amazing. Base armor rating 10, that's as much as plate armor or Pearl Dragon armor. However, unlike Pearl Dragon armor, which has an encumbrance rating of 11, this has an encumbrance rating of 7, which means we can easily cast level 9 spells. We almost have one online, as I said earlier, this Singularity spell. We can cast it in a pinch, or rather not in a pinch, but in safe situations where we want to test it out without having to worry about contamination mutations. Okay, so Pandemonium. So Pandemonium is infinite. There are as many levels of Pandemonium as you can survive, but you can never go back. That is, once you leave a level, you can never return to it. Yikes! And this is a very exciting start. Well, need a drink of water for that one. And maybe a change of pants, because this is pretty scary. Alright, we have a Tormentor here, which, as per its name, can torment us. The plus side is that we are a gargoyle, so we have a natural resistance to torment. Yes, I don't know if Mr. Bartel's class can see the chat, but one of our viewers just asked, or just pointed out that the Quicksilver Dragon Armor has the downside of it normally is that it can't be enchanted beyond just its base armor rating, which is fine anyway, but since it's an artifact, we couldn't enchant it regardless, so there's just no drawback to it. It's great. Right. As I was saying, Tormentors can torment us, which we are quite resistant to. Gargoyles, I believe, take 50% reduced torment damage naturally, so it's only 25% of your max hit points to start with. And on top of that, we have 3 pips of negative energy resistance, so I believe that we're only taking about 10% of our hit points in torment damage. That's about 20 hit points a pop. To start, I mean, it's a percentage of your current hit points, not your max. You can't be tormented to death. It won't kill you in 5 hits. It'll just make it really easy for everything else to kill you. We have some Sentinels. These guys have the Uber Fire that cannot be resisted. So that's a little scary, but not too bad. Okay, so what we want to do here is, if we have a Scroll of Holy Word, and we do not, well, most of these actually aren't too bad. There are only 3 Tier 5 demons here, and these might even only be Tier 4. Tier 1 being the weakest type of demon, and Tier 5 being the most powerful. And then we've got some demon spawn. So I believe we're okay. We also have a gate leading out over here that we can get to quite easily, because even though we are very slow and we cannot run there, we have Controlled Blink, which is a beautiful spell that I haven't really had the chance to abuse before, but it's awesome. It basically gives you an infinite number of blink scrolls, as long as you have the mana for it, of course, and if you cast it too frequently, you end up contaminated, which can cause irresistible mutations. But we have some potions of cure mutation, and a little bit of contamination never hurt anybody, so we will just proceed to start bashing things, and if we have to, we can run away. This does not look like one of the unique levels. There are 4 unique Pandemonium levels that can... no, 5. There are 5 Pandemonium runes that can be found. Alright, we're just kind of slowly working our way through here. I'm not too terribly concerned. We're down about 50 hit points. We're down about a quarter of our health. But I think that's acceptable for now. I think our next target needs to be the Tormentor now that we have it in melee range. Is there anything that we can cast that will make this easier? Phase Shift would give us additional evasion, but it would not do anything against Torment, which is going to be our primary source of damage. We have insane defensive stats. 57 armor class, 30 evasion, 39 shields. Ugh, I love characters like this. On top of that, there's a hidden stat, as it were, that is influencing our decision-making as well, and that is Guaranteed Damage Reduction, GDR. It is calculated based on the base armor of the body armor which you are wearing. So in our case, it's the Quicksilver Dragon armor. Base armor rating 10. So it's functionally the same as plate armor. Normally, it provides a 39% guaranteed damage reduction, which means when you are hit by something that uses armor class as a calculation in its damage dealing, you are guaranteed to receive at least 39% of your armor class value as damage reduction. So you can't... Some things just can't hurt you at all. They cannot hit you for any amount of damage. For the most part. On top of that, we are a gargoyle, which means we get extra guaranteed damage reduction. So we are at basically 50% of 57 armor class. We are reducing guaranteed 28.5 damage per hit, rounded down, so probably 28 damage per hit. So most things can't even hurt us in melee. That's why Torment is our main consideration, because it attacks our hit points directly, bypassing all of our armor. Okay, boom, got the Tormentor. The Sentinels are, I believe, really high armor class, so we may wish to think about figuring out alternative ways to deal with them. I don't remember what the Grand Avatars do, but I don't think I have to be worried about them. Alright, Sap. Forget what the Sap stat does. I think it means... It's whenever I cast spells, it does something. I think you take damage. Either you take damage or you leak additional mana points. I don't recall. Okay, so now we're down about a third of our hit points. So let's think about magical means of dealing with this situation. Oh, now that the Tormentor is out of the way, we can use probably Dispersal. Yeah. Boom. Peace. See ya. Dispersal just teleports or blinks away everything around you. It's so much fun. I really like the new Translocations school. They didn't change much. They just added 2 spells. They added Gel's Gravitas, which is a line of targeting spell. So it looks like this. You target a space you can't target behind things. And it just pulls everything towards that spot, and they sometimes run into each other and take damage, and sometimes get confused. Very cool. It's a very cool spell. And they also added Singularity, which we can't currently cast. Not safely. We have the wizardry penalty of probably, well, one of these bad guys that's threatening us here. Okay. So I think our plan is just to continue. Well, let's try the gravitas right about here. Okay. And we did that primarily because there was nothing standing next to us that we could bash. We are primarily interested in bashing right now. We have a very strong sword. It's a double sword, which is tied for the highest base damage of a one-handed weapon in the game, I believe. Or pretty close to it. There's, I think, a blessed double sword that does one more, something like that. But it's very, very good. Currently it's draining, which is not the best in Pandemonium. I'm hoping to find another Scroll of Brand weapon to switch it to. Really anything else would be fine. But for now, we do have a spell that we can use, which is Warp Weapon, which turns it temporarily into Distortion. It won't work on artifacts, but presumably if we find an artifact double sword, we're going to be using it regardless, and we can just forget that spell. Okay. It, at the very least, sort of blinks things away from us, so we have a chance to kind of rest up. One of our viewers had five scrolls of brand weapon on a character of theirs that they just I think they got a win with it, which is pretty neat. Book of Callings is summonings, sort of low to. Actually, I think it's the starting summoning book. In my opinion, the worst starting summoning, or the worst starting spell book in the game. But don't get too biased based on my opinion, because that is purely slanted by my own experiences with summoners, which have been poor. I spent too much time trying to play them as pure spellcasters, and they're really more of a hybrid. A regular old greatsword is not something that interests us all that much. Ooh, an alternative pair of boots. We do have some amazing boots. +3 intelligence, protection from fire. We do lose a pip of cold resistance, which is too bad, but +9 mana. We already have resist corrosion, so that's not too swell. But you know, I would be open to the well, and they're +5 boots too, so very, very strong. I would be open to the idea of switching to a new one. That is one where we can kind of optimize. All right, these guys, the yellow demons, can blow up walls, and they can malmutate you, but we do have mutation resistance from our Hat of the Alchemist. Right. Orange demons have reach, so we do have to approach those if we want to just bash them down, which they can't really do enough damage to threaten us. Only tier 4 and 5 demons are really of any concern. We have on an Amulet of Regeneration, so we get back health at about 1 every 2.5 turns. Oh, hey, zombie. Yeah, I should clarify on summonings. They're very good for a standard clear, for like a 3 to 5 rune clear. Maybe 10 runes. I feel like they would have a really hard time with the tomb and with Pandemonium. Just the damage output falls off pretty hard. They might be able to do those okay, but Ziggurats are really what I'm thinking of. You can't be a summoner and beat a Ziggurat unless you've branched out into other stuff. If you branch out into other stuff, sure. Then, you know, then you are strong. But, okay. Is Deflect Missiles online yet? Close enough. There we go. We have Repel Missiles, which is fine, but Deflect is just an order of magnitude better. It's extremely strong. Okay, Shadow Fiend. That is, again, something we do have to worry about. It is a tier 5. Anything that has Symbol of Torment, you can see here. Calls upon the powers of darkness to cause agonizing injury to every living thing in the caster's vicinity. It's a vampire. And the Hell Sentinel can deal damage to us. It's not a lot of damage, but it's enough that we need to be concerned. So let's think about spells again. Probably Disjunction isn't bad. Disjunction is an aura, so it sticks around for a little while, and I would be okay with them being a little bit out of sorts. This way we can just sort of throw javelins at this guy. Ooh, ouch. Well, maybe not. Hold on, let's rethink this. Yeah, I guess arguing that something is weak because it isn't good in a Ziggurat is a little silly. It's no, very, very strong. My favorite thing to do in this game is a Ziggurat, which is why I'm biased towards that. Okay, but let's think about what we're doing here. Because at range they'll use their Fire and Torment, to which we are less resistant. We can't really just run away. I suppose we can still just Javelin the Shadow Fiend. That works alright. Okay, sure. So I misjudged throwing a lot. I think it's good to put about 7 levels into it. I think you could put more, but I'm hesitant to do so just because it seems to get such a great return from so few points once you manage to stack up a bunch of javelins. Javelins are strong. Also, I think the fact that our stats are outrageously high has something to do with it. 46 strength, 33 dexterity. Those have to have some influence on it. Okay, so we don't want to be stepping away. That's fine. This is... Once we got rid of the Shadow Fiend, this went from being a dangerous situation to a safe situation. I mean, it's not perfectly safe, but it's a situation where we can experiment a little bit, find out what works, and you kind of have to do that in Pandemonium because it's just a whole different power level from anything else that you've approached throughout the game. Yeah, so we can summon butterflies. That seems really strong, actually. The mighty butterflies! The monarch will reign! Okay, so maybe not the greatest in retrospect. But this is why we memorized the spell control blink. Because it lets us get out of sticky situations that are otherwise punishing us. I do not have a Wand of Heal Wounds, which I would like to find at some point. Also probably should have identified these boots to consider putting them on before we progress further. I think this merits a good, safe Potion of Heal Wounds. Getting an extra 30 hit points, 25 hit points back means that we can take a couple of Fire Blasts and be okay. Ow. Yeah. Yeah, we're fine. Regeneration is pretty effective. Uh, oh, yeah, sure. Now's not a bad time to look at our inventory anyway. Uh, yes, Stanley Doodrich, the mighty Doodrich. Let's not look at these boots just right now, the ones we don't have identified. But okay, so we have the Cloak of Cocytus, which is fantastic. Slaying +2, Strength +4. Those are just kind of extra bonuses to a resist fire magic resistance +2 cloak. Just very good. I would wear this cloak if it had any two of those four bonuses and be very happy with it. The fact that it has all four is outstanding. Um, there's this Hat of the Alchemist, which I don't know if you caught the first time around. It's a -2 hat, so you do lose a little bit of armor class, but we have a ton of that anyway. And it gives you one of every resistance. It's fantastic. It's just such a powerful defensive item. Um, Granted, we do not benefit from resist electricity or resist poison. We have those anyway as a gargoyle. But it's still a very, very cool hat. Kind of not the best thing to use very early on when there isn't a lot of elemental damage. But later on, these boots are pretty good. They do penalize us a single point of cold resistance, but they're +5 boots, which is higher than boots can naturally be enchanted. So we're getting just free bonus armor class off of that. Um, and it gives us 9 extra mana and 3 extra intelligence, which are very, very relevant for our spellcasting. We want to get level 9 spells fully online as rapidly as possible, because those are going to be our primary method of damage from here on out. We want those to be our primary method of damage. Melee becomes more and more dangerous as you progress because you have to cut through layers of monsters before you get to the things that are tormenting you. So, yeah. This +8 large shield, which is why we trained our shields all the way up to 23, so we wouldn't suffer any spellcasting penalties from that. And it's well worth it. We have a 39 shield score right now, which means that I want to say, like, I don't know the actual formula, but it feels like that's roughly the percentage of time that you block melee or missile attacks. Uh, I don't know if that's the actual number, if it is, closer to 50%, if it's closer to 30%, or less than that. But it feels like we block a lot of the time. Uh, and it gives us 5 bonus strength, just for funsies. We've got this Quicksilver Dragon armor, which I mentioned before is amazing. Gives us a bunch of free bonuses and is just excellent for spellcasting in general. Because its encumbrance rating is very low. And then we have this the pair of Fencer's gloves, made with white silk. Um, I don't think I've ever found these before, but I really like them. They're a non-random artifact. They're a unique artifact. +3 evasion, +6 dexterity, +2 slaying. So just a good solid setup for gloves. This is another one that at this point I would be willing to consider swapping out for something else, but it's still very, very strong. 3 evasion plus effectively 1 more from the 6 dexterity that it grants. Maybe even 2 more. Our dodging skill is at 12, which is reasonable. We'll be training that next, after we max out armor. What else are we wearing? Oh, well, here's our double sword. Base damage 15, that's the same as an Evening Star. Oh, interesting. I guess the Fencer's Gloves didn't used to be this good. That's really cool. I'm glad we got the upgraded version. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen them. Oh, okay, so rings. We're wearing an Amulet of Regeneration. I haven't found many, if any, artifact amulets. If I've found them, they're bad. I think I found maybe an artifact amulet of inaccuracy or something. Inaccuracy, like reduces your accuracy. And just a ring of protection from cold to balance out the boots penalty. Ring of See Invisible, because we actually don't have another source of that. And it's common enough that I want to have it on pretty much all the time. But in certain circumstances, if we're surrounded by lots of cold creatures, we have this ring, which effectively is just a ring of double cold resistance. We're already maxed out with negative energy resistance. The +2 strength is basically irrelevant, and it actually penalizes our spellcasting. So it's not ideal. It's why we're not just wearing it right now. Instead of this ring of protection from cold, normal ring of protection from cold. We don't have many wands. We have not trained evocations at all, which I probably should have put a few levels into it. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. The Fencer's Gloves used to be a penalty to melee combat and a bonus to ranged, but now it's just a slaying bonus. So you get it for both. Okay, we have a good stock of potions. What I do not have on me for just saving inventory space are a handful of potions of Cure Mutation. I think I have 3 of them, which is good. And this legendary deck of summoning. I identified the top card. It's the Pentagram. It summons a friendly demon, which we may use at some point. It's not the strongest, but having a summon available to us is always nice. And one of the changes in, I believe, patch 15. This is 16 that we're on now. This is the tournament server. Patch 15, I think, they... Sorry, completely lost track of my train of thought. Oh dear. Sometimes I get thinking ahead of myself too far, and I lose track of what I was saying. Okay, so what we're doing here is trying to figure out if we want to fight this or if we want to try and run away. I'm not concerned about having to leave Pandemonium or leave to another region of Pandemonium. There's no guaranteed way out of Pandemonium. Usually there's a gate to the Abyss through which you can escape, but sometimes it's just more Pandemonium. More crazy. I think we can just melee most of these things. Polearms are a little annoying for this particular build. This is the first time that I've tried long blades instead of maces and flails, and I think I like it. I don't know if I would have preferred axes, but I do have a manual of axes, so we can switch over to that at some point. Okay. So demon spawn are found frequently throughout Pandemonium. And they are not usually too terrible. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have Singularity quite online. Okay, so I guess that has to have more than one target in the area. Interesting. Good to know. Whoa. Okay. Alright, interesting. So what just happened is we were berserked. So we get a bunch of extra hit points, which is kind of cool. However, we do not get the speed bonus because Chabriados prevents us from speeding up at all. But I believe we get, a bunch of extra strength, so extra damage as well. So we should be able to make short work of these things. Feeling safe to walk towards them in this particular state because spending the 2 turns to close the gap to guaranteed close the gap is better than risking not closing the gap at all and then being slowed. As here. Alright. And we're back to some kind of parity. I don't recall, this may have... No, it does not actually have Lee's Rapid Deconstruction, even though it's an Earth explosion kind of demon. Lee's rapid deconstruction explodes rock, and as a gargoyle, we are not the biggest fan. We are currently training air magic because eventually we want to be able to cast Tornado. That is, I believe, a fairly necessary spell to take on a Ziggurat, which is the ultimate goal for this character. I want to win one of the banners in the tournament, which is to leave a Ziggurat from its lowest level, make it all the way to the bottom, 27 levels. I've done it before with basically this character. Different setup. That was I think 3 patches ago, so maybe 2 patches. It was either 13 or 14. All right. So just going to wait here until we speed back up. Relatively speaking, still takes us 2 turns to move a tile. That is to say, when we take 1 step, on turn 1 we move. So you move immediately, but then everything else has 2 full rounds, 2 full turns to do whatever they want to you. So positioning is very, very important because it's very difficult to change. It was even more difficult to change before we got Controlled Blink online, which was only fairly recently. Okay. Just some more demon spawn. As I said before, this doesn't appear to be one of the unique levels, but I suppose it's possible that the entire level doesn't look different. Usually I think they do, but it might just be one corner of a level, so I shouldn't rule it out. Having to be aware of the Tormentor nearby. But fortunately it's closing with us. These clouds of poison, we're fine with that. Hey Zen, how's it going? Yeah, the might effect. Potions of might. It's why a potion of might is better than just putting on a ring of strength or something like that, because it's I believe a percentage increase of the base damage of the weapon. I'm not very certain of that one at all. I think I can balance my water glass over here. I have been experiencing some pretty bad allergies as of late. All the crazy changes in the weather are not kind to me. So I'm just kind of holed up. Taking Benadryl and playing some Dungeon Crawl. It's a good excuse to play some Crawl. Plus the tournament ends on Sunday, and I do want to make it through the extended endgame with this character by then. I probably will not stream the entirety of it. I don't think I have time to do that, because streaming takes more time anyway, and enervated. That's a good vocab word. Enervated, it means drained of energy or strength. Fatigued. Okay, alright. So, the red devils are a little bit tricky. They run away from you and they have polearms. We can never catch them because we are super duper slow. We would just chase them to the ends of the halls of Pandemonium and then die. If they can even hurt us, I'm not sure that that's the case. Okay, so rather than run towards that sentinel down there, we back around the corner and maybe just shout. Shout! Shout! Let it all out! More demons. I really want to find a Scroll of Brand weapon, because draining is basically useless to us here. I don't know if there's anything that in Pandemonium that is affected by it. Almost everything is demonic. Oh, hey, Dr. X. Good to see ya. Alright, javelins aren't going to do a lot. Let's get the, what is it, a Inoxinol? Just so its little summoned critters don't get in our way. But we didn't quite manage to take it down, so we need to switch targets to the Sentinel. Big armored behemoth. Alright, and we're fine. I mean, virtually no damage taken. Any damage that was taken was regenerated. Yeah, we're strong enough for Pandemonium. There are a few things that I would like to have before we take on the stronger lords. So we can leave Pandemonium. I may decide to do that after we clear this level. I may wish to sort of take stock of things, and there's no real penalty for doing that. Okay, so we need to slow down a little bit, getting a wee bit hasty. Alright, we're fine, just didn't want to, accidentally click through and die, or tab through, rather. I prefer not to use the mouse. Yep, that's the purple flame. Oh, congratulations, Doctor. That's really cool. Oh, and Zen, I've been okay. Having some pretty bad allergy problems, but otherwise life is great. Been cooking a lot lately, which is always fun. Enchant armor. I have like 20 scrolls of enchant armor. Nothing to use it on. Artifacts everywhere. Power crawl problems. Burst crawl problems? I don't know. I have too many artifacts. Okay, I really think that like one-on-one we can just kind of bash down the Sentinels. The other thing is that the Ultra Fire is, in fact, extremely loud. Big old fireballs. Great balls of fire. Yeah. So, individually, there's nothing here that we fear. We didn't find a Pandemonium Lord on this level, or at least have not found it yet. I believe we would have by now, if there was one. Not all levels of Pandemonium have a Lord. And they're not all very strong. I mean, if you can make it to the orb, you can kill a Pandemonium Lord. It's just, they're usually surrounded by circumstances. Like 6 of those Sentinels. Octopode Transmuter is something that I've been wanting to try. They buffed it significantly when they changed several of the transmutations, like Statue Form and I think maybe Dragon Form. A couple of them to not meld your rings, so you get access to all of them, even when shape changed, which was not the case before. You only got to keep 2 of them. Okay. So there's a level of Pandemonium. Alright. Since we do have a gate to the Abyss here, let's head on out for now, just because I don't want to get too caught up, and also my voice is starting to wear out a little bit, so I may I may take a break for a while. We'll see. But also the Abyss is cool, it's fun, it's crazy looking. We already have the Abyssal Rune, so our stay here will be a little bit shorter. And we do have the benefit of Chabriados slowing down the spawn rate of all these monsters. On top of that, we're just way stronger than anything in the Abyss. Only through hubris would we die here. Or, strange circumstances. It can happen, but I mean, we should be able to get out of any set of circumstances that the Abyss presents. The Abyssal Rune will increase the rate at which or increase the chance that a generated tile will be a gateway out. It means that we find our way out faster. There we go. We can stick around for some gold. Ha! We found another one. The nice thing about the Abyss for worshippers of Ashnzari is that it's an infinite source of piety. You can just explore around whenever you drop low on piety. So you can retool your skills to your heart's content. But Chabriados does require sacrifice. You have to kill things that are faster than you, which is pretty much everything, since you're really, really slow. Okay, now that we're out here in the real world, hey, we found a Wand of Heal Wounds. I have no idea when that happened. I missed it entirely. Ooh, Let's take a look here. We have more than maximum resist fire. Yeah, I do want to stream some more Dr. X. The reason why I have not been as much is because, well, I've had about the same amount of time to play. I really wanted to try this tournament thing out, and so I've been spending a lot more time playing off stream than I have recently. But stream should pick up from here on out. Part of it was just that I was too intimidated by the program to figure out how to stream my browser rather than the game itself. But it was simple enough to figure out once I actually sat down and did it. Okay, so as for these boots, we don't need the resist corrosion or the resist fire. We drank a potion of beneficial mutation, which gave us some extra fire resistance, and another one which gave us some extra armor class at the penalty of 1 dexterity, which, is fine. Not a really relevant trade-off. Yes, I do use OBS. It's really a simple program. It's very user-friendly. I want to play the game. I don't want to spend time getting things set up. So I really don't have a good excuse. Okay, so these boots. So we have currently 4 pips of resist fire. You can't see the 4th, it doesn't do anything, but we can lose 1 source of fire resistance and still have max fire resistance. Additionally, if we remove these boots, we would gain a pip of cold resistance. The only thing we would lose is 3 bonus armor. So yeah, we're going to take these off. So even without boots at all, we're still at 50 armor class. And we'll put on, because basically the only relevant things on those boots was the added mana and intelligence, and the armor, which we don't really care so much about the armor as much as we care about a free extra pip of cold resistance. So, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about, where you can just kind of fine-tune and maximize your stats. I mean, ideally we will end up with 3 pips of cold resistance, and we'll find an artifact ring or something. Very, very few, very little artifact jewelry anywhere around here. So that will be something to look forward to. But yeah, You'll notice next to resist poison there, the little, instead of a plus, it's a little infinity sign, because we cannot be affected by poison at all whatsoever, rather than just being difficult to poison. Yeah, so we're strong. We're very strong. I am tempted. I'm tempted to pop my head into the tomb. There was a tournament challenge that I was considering trying, which is to grab the orb and then do the whole tomb on the way out. But I don't know how I feel about that. And the first level or so would be easier, probably, than Pandemonium. Or I could just do another level of Pandemonium. I mean, I think I want to memorize some spells. So let's head back to our stash here. Whoa! Stepped on a summoning trap, looks like. But nothing that we need to be too concerned about here. One goal for the end game, we have free experience to throw around, is training summonings up to the point where we can cast Aura of Abjuration, which basically just banishes everything that's summoned around you. Very, very useful when dealing with demons that can summon other demons, ancient liches, summoning traps, as you can see. Some of the unique Pandemonium lords almost require it. I mean, it's you can do anything with anything in this game. You can have crazy builds and do miraculous things, but I find that the easiest way to do things is to have Aura of Abjuration. Yeah, the tomb is very difficult. Yeah, only the 4 branches, the 4 branches of the infernal realm are more difficult, and that's a different kind of difficulty. It's an endurance challenge rather than a spike difficulty. It's especially for Chabriados followers. It's kind of difficult because you take twice as long to get through. Though I think he slows down the punishments somewhat. Also on this screen, you'll notice in the list of altars there, the one to Jiva is crossed out, is grayed out, and that's because I killed the royal jelly, and as Jiva's only sentient worshipper, when I killed the jelly, the deity faded from existence. Sad day. Right, stash. Okay. So I still have no armor to enchant. Sword is maxed out. Cure Mutation, which, yeah, I still don't really want to carry with me. Alright, so spells. We can get regular Abjuration, which might be a worthwhile use. In that we can use it immediately. Oh yeah, Gozig, one of the new deities, the merchant deity, now costs 4,000 gold to join. We could, if we wanted. We have 5,000, but the stat bonuses that we're getting from Chabriados are fairly crucial to this build. You don't have... You're spread far too thin across your skills for too much of the game to do it without those stats. Perhaps when you have everything maxed out skill-wise, you could switch. If you assemble sort of the gear combination for an entirely different build prior to abandoning Che, then you could do it. But I just don't see much of a reason to do that anyway. Translocations are getting us where we need to go anyway, and there aren't any other... the Shining one would be something to consider. The Shining one is very, very strong endgame. Zin is another one, extended endgame. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh yeah, here are some other rings that we have. I don't think any of them are worth, well, either of them rather. I don't think either of them are worth using particularly at any point. Basically just rings of resist negative energy, which we don't need. We have 1 pip naturally and then 2 sources. Our awesome Quicksilver Dragon armor. Part of my reticence as well is there some of these things we are unlikely to ever replace. The Quicksilver Dragon armor is probably the armor we will wear for the entire rest of the game. I don't say that with 100% certainty, because there is always a fractional percentage that somewhere in Pandemonium there is something better. But functionally, this is the best armor in the game for us, best in slot. The same can be said for the Hat of the Alchemist. Short of finding just an insane artifact piece of jewelry that has similar bonuses on it, it's unlikely that we will ever want to switch away from that. So that leaves kind of our cloak, our boots, and yeah, our cloak, our boots, our shield, and our gloves as mutable, as slots that we can and should consider moving around. And so having an excess, having something locked out with our permanent ones is let me think of a better way to put this. The fact that we are always going to want to wear the Hat of the Alchemist and the Quicksilver Dragon armor means we are always going to have 2 pistons on top of our natural, which means we never need another source of negative energy resistance. So it's functionally useless to have that on any other item in the game. So in this, for example, in this ring in our inventory, the Ring of Okawaru's Castigation, resist poison and negative energy resistance are 100% useless for us. They serve no purpose. On top of that, the int -4 is really bad. The only reason why we would use this is for the resist cold bonus, which I don't think we even really need anymore. So we can probably drop that and save the inventory space, now that I think about it. Going from 1 pip to 3 pips is pretty strong, but going from 2, like having the ability to go from 1 pip to 3 pips in a time of difficulty is good. But I don't think, since we have 2 pips anyway, that we're going to necessarily need that. Cold damage just isn't going to be that common in most of the areas that we're going into. And we can always come back here and grab it on our way to Cocytus. We have to pass through here regardless. So, yeah. Inventory space is just really important in Pandemonium, because you are going to have to leave things behind forever if you leave anything behind. And while that doesn't seem like a really big deal, it's like, oh no, I have too much treasure. If you're saving stuff for the tomb or for the 4 branches, or even for later levels of Pandemonium, it's very useful to be able to traipse through a handful of levels of Pandemonium, since you're not guaranteed to come back out. Let's also identify this Wand of Heal Wounds. Ah, it's empty. Good thing I identified it and didn't rely on it in a pinch, eh? Let's see. I know I have multiple scrolls of recharging. Okay, yeah. We can carry these with us now. It is a worthwhile inventory exchange now that we have the Wand of Heal Wounds. There's not really anything else that I would care that much about recharging on the fly. But being able to have long-term sustain is important. The emergency effect of the Wand of Heal Wounds is effectively gone. You can rely on it to heal roughly 20 points of health, and Torment does about 20 points of health. So the entire turn is a wash with only one source of Torment damaging you. If you have multiple sources, you're losing health faster than you're gaining it if you're using it for in-combat healing. However, there are many circumstances where you can get yourself away from combat for a few turns, for just 5 turns. And that's when it becomes really important to be able to heal up, so that you have the ability to continue a fight without having to abandon the Pandemonium level. That's the strategy, basically. And it's why I'm really glad that we somewhere found this wand and have been carrying it for some amount of time unknown to me. So somewhere during this stream, we got a Wand of Heal Wounds, and I'm really excited about it. The Wand of Flame, however, is not worth the inventory slot, especially with 0 evocations. Wand of Heal Wounds does not function off of evocation skill, so you don't need to train it up to get the full benefit from the wand. Okay. Our skill setup is great. Basically, we're going to train these skills until fighting maxes out, and then we will probably turn on dodging again or we might just leave these the remaining 4 training. Might turn on dodging. We'll see. I kind of want to get Tornado online sooner rather than later, which means I will consider switching to a heavier air magic training regimen soon. But I gotta have translocations maxed out first. Gotta have Singularity online. Only because we've already invested so much into it that we're wasting a lot of power without being by not being able to cast that. We're missing out on a power spike for every place we go without Singularity online. Okay. Yeah. We have 3 spell levels, but we can always forget spells. We can definitely forget repel missiles because we have deflect missiles, which is so much better. Worlds better. Where are Scrolls of Evocation? Here we go. So that's a free 2 spell levels. I might want to forget either Disjunction or Dispersal. I'm not sure that it's necessary to have both. Well, Disjunction, Dispersal, and Gelf's Gravitas all kind of perform similar functions. I really don't know that I need Phase Shift at all. We have 30 evasion. I mean, 8 additional evasion is still great. I mean, evasion is a very strong stat. But that being said, the fact that our evasion is already 30 and we have 54 armor class and 39 shields, there are some diminishing returns. Let's put it that way. So I think we can go ahead and forget that. I don't think it's worth 5 spell levels in the long run. One thing we want to do right now, before we go traipsing back through Pandemonium, is trying to get our spellbook as optimized as possible. Basically, because you never know when you're going to want to come back from Pandemonium, or be able to come back from Pandemonium. I mean, if you hit one of the unique levels that has a rune in it, you don't want to just abandon the rune. And if the next level is a unique level with a rune in it, you can't just abandon the... And, it's very unlikely that that will be the case, but it's never fun to have to leave early. We can get rid of Scrolls of Enchant Armor. They are basically useless. Oh, Mara. Mara is really rough. Mara is one of the sort of gear check uniques, I think. You have to be able to fight yourself. And that's not always something you plan for. We can just eat some of this pizza. We got vegetable and pepperoni. Yum. This is something that I highly recommend for pretty much any character that you can get away with it. Just eat all the permafood that isn't bread or meat rations. Just do it. Like, maybe save some fruit for high hunger spellcasting, but Yeah. Ooh, fully buffed blade hands with finesse. That, yeah, that sounds deadly. Okay. Yeah, so let's forget phase shift. Alright, what else can we get rid of? I really like portal projectile. That is quite helpful to have. And is actually something that we can consider a reason to put more points into throwing. But I do like having both blink and controlled blink, just because sometimes we don't want the contamination that controlled blink causes, and sometimes it's just not necessary. Any blink will do. How many spell levels do we have? That's the question. Okay, we have 10. So we want to memorize Tornado at some point. We can do it now, but I don't think it's necessary. Airstrike is another strong option, as we scale up our air magic, of course. It's not very strong right now. Force Lance is also an option. Yeah, Hindi mythology, or what have you, Mara, Indian folklore, I think was very, very gender neutral, or accepting of the idea of multiple genders. As to whether the demon Mara is male or female. Not incredibly important for our purposes, since either way, we did slay the beast. Okay, so the benefit of memorizing Tornado now is that we can just forget about it. We know that the spell levels are going to be in use. We're already working on training it. It will get there. It's going to be a while. -2 aptitude does not train quickly. That being said, we're getting a lot of experience. All of the things that we're fighting have a lot of hit dice, which means we're getting a ton of experience. Okay. So, the fact that Singularity is not yet online, and we have 21 levels in translocations, and it's a single school spell, I think it's going to be quite some time before we are going to be able to cast Tornado at all. So we don't need to worry about that at this time. That being said, do we want to memorize something else? I would like another source of damage, especially at range. I'm considering Lightning Bolt. I don't like Orb of Destruction in Pandemonium. It's too rare that it actually hits your intended target. Lightning Bolt isn't a ton of damage, though. Maybe Airstrike is the answer because of the smite targeting, but I do like the piercing of Lightning Bolt. I think that's something that we lack. Yes. Okay. So we have 9 remaining spell levels. If you do a would you mind typing the race background combination in caps? Sorry, I just can't read the screen from where I am. I have a weird setup. But the short answer is definitely yeah. Okoaru is one of the best deities to switch away from. The punishment is Merfolk Transmuter, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Just make sure that you can kill a pack of Iron Trolls or whatever on top of whatever you're fighting at the moment, which you'll be able to do by the time you finish Vaults. Yeah, Blade Hands will just hi take care of those things. Um, yeah, it's very strong throughout the mid to late game and gets you great equipment. But once you have the equipment and you've maxed out your skills more or less, finesse is the only thing it gives you, and you can get other sources of haste. I mean, you can even just memorize the spell if need be. Um, so yeah, I would recommend the Shining one is really good. Zin would be another option. I don't know about the new Olivalon. Who else is really good in the extended endgame? Kiku Bakudka is an option if you don't have another source of torment resistance. If you are a weak to torment race, so not undead or gargoyle, or I think there are maybe a couple others. I don't know. But yeah, that provides some benefit. Although I don't know. Necromancy is more of a utility school than a damage school later on, since most things are resistant or immune to negative energy. Um, and corpses are less common. Demons don't leave corpses. So, there is a drawback to switching to Kiku Bakudka, but it's still a valid choice, I believe. Mokleb is an option if you're planning on a very melee heavy. Yeah, Dithmenos can provide some interesting positioning benefits and damage as well. I haven't experimented too much in the extended end game with Dithmenos, but I can imagine that it's strong. Ashen Zari is another option. Once you've basically maxed out all your gear, you just curse it all, since you've got all the best stuff anyway. Um, and that lets you branch out into, and then you can cross train your skills and stuff, and that lets you really diversify your character. And if you want to get rid of, yeah, and then there's always some. just go wild and crazy. I also actually like Kozlal. I think for some of, I don't like it for Pandemonium, but for the Hells, I think Kozlal is fine. Okay, so let's do one more level of Pandemonium, I think. Alright. We have everything we need. Ooh, no. No, we do not. We need our triple sword of Holy Wrath. Just in case. I don't think we need anything else here. Yeah, Shield of Reflection. I don't feel a strong need to get a Shield of Reflection. I'd rather just have the damage reduction. That's right, you can't fast travel to Pandemonium. Okay. Chebriados is clearly not the deity for speedruns. Okay. Yeah, another standard level, it appears, which is great. Stark Cursed Mass. Gosh, who summoned that? probably this guy. I don't like that they're multiplying, but... Ooh, paralyzed. Hello. Alright, well, let's use Slouch. That's why I wasn't too concerned about the Starkhurst masses. They are extremely fast, which means Slouch, which damages things based on the difference in speed between they and you. Goes boom! And we don't really have to worry about Piety. We're killing things at a rapid enough rate. Ooh, an entrance to a Ziggurat. That's exciting. That means we will get to do a few levels of that. We have one of those at home, and probably will never want to use it anyway. Cool. So, Ziggurats, you don't have to finish them. You can back out at any time, man. So, what I want to do here is turn off everything but translocations. And hope to, over the course of this level, get Singularity castable. Enough to get through just a couple of levels of the Ziggurat, 1 or 2, can provide us with some fantastic treasure. Whether it just be like Potions of Cure Mutation, or, I don't know, a better weapon. I think it's worth it. Because when we abandon this level, the Ziggurat's going away anyway. We haven't used the one in the dungeon yet, so we have that as our fallback for when we guaranteed want to do that one. When we want to do a Ziggurat and don't want to have to romp through Pandemonium to find it. Because that situation is super common. Okay, transient mutations only. That's good. Ooh, which is this Shadow Demon? I'm not too worried. Gosh, I really... Yeah. Once I get Singularity online, I think my next step might actually be to get Aura of Abjuration online. I just feel like that's a really important spell. And we have the spare levels for it because I don't think we need to get Necromutation. I don't think it's necessary. I did not end up needing it last time I played a Gargoyle of Chabriados. Between having 3 pips of negative energy resistance and the natural torment resistance, or torment damage reduction, you end up pretty solid. I mean, it hurts, but it's manageable. It can't, it can't kill you or it can't cause you to, it can't put you in range of being slain within 1 or 2 turns. You have time to deal with a room full of them. Once you have Firestorm, or, something similar. I believe Singularity will be able to function in lieu of Firestorm. You're not allowed to cast Haste on enemies, actually. That would work, but Chabriados will get really mad at you for hasting anything. Pretty sure. Ooh, a Wand of Teleportation? I'll take it. Teleportation scrolls are always nice to have. Or, sources of teleportation. Wands particularly so because you can use them offensively. Though, at this point, we're not really going to be able to succeed on any of those attempts. As in, teleporting away your enemy. That's what I really like to do in situations where there's one particularly powerful foe in the midst of a bunch of lesser foes, and you just want to get it out of the way. I really like throwing with this build. You could polymorph until you get something fast. Yeah, I don't think you're penalized for polymorph. Though I kind of feel like if you had the time to spend polymorphing something multiple times in order to slouch it, you're you're experimenting. You're testing the game mechanics. That's your goal in that circumstance, I think. That's something I ought to do sometime, is play around in wizard mode. I have never done that. Wizard mode effectively kills your character. You lose the ability to win the game and get a high score. Like, you can carry the orb out, but you won't get points for it, which is a shame. But it lets you. It's basically the god mode of the game. It lets you. Shift me away, will you? Guess we should. Oh, sorcerer was not a summoned creature. Definitely need to get rid of that guy. Word of Recall is not nice to have in Pandemonium. Lost my train of thought again. I know at some point I was talking about how Singularity can function instead of Firestorm. I really think that's true. The way it functions is it summons, unfortunately, on an empty tile. That is the one downside. You cannot do it on top of a creature. It creates a black hole that affects a wide predetermined range and deals heavy damage over time. Oh, did they alter Styx to Snakes? I would be very excited by that. See, this is why you want Aura of Abjuration, because it's a lot less hassle. You don't have to try and figure out what summoned what. Doesn't matter who summoned whom. Okay. So, Ziggurat. Ziggurats are hard. Yeah, they changed the decks to only having to be in your inventory to evoke them. I would love for that to be the case with those as well. Yeah, those are not fun spells to use. I mean, they are useful, but okay. So, are we prepared to even step foot in a Ziggurat? I think so. Yeah, because we have 7 Potions of Brilliance, enough to cast Singularity several times. Dr. X, I would love to check that out, but I don't have an iPad. I use an Android tablet. But that would be really cool. I will recommend that to a friend of mine. Do you have the name of the app or something, or a link to it? As we set foot into a Ziggurat and maybe die. I am fully aware that this character might just die at some point here. Like that's the risk you run when you want to go for the extended endgame, because everything you do is dangerous, and you have to take calculated risks in order to progress. We are not attempting to progress all the way through this Ziggurat. That would be impossible currently. Well, nothing's impossible. but it would be very difficult for us to reach that point. Fortunately, we got an easy first level. Okay. Pretty easy second level. I think, now that I think about it, I seem to recall seeing something in the changelogs about the first ziggurat being easier than subsequent ziggurats. Potion of Cure Mutation. This little trip has already paid for itself. We could memorize Fireball. That's not a bad option, actually. We would have to start training Conjuration and Fire. No, I think we're just going to continue training what we're training. Oh yeah, Dr. X, I would be very interested in that. Or if not for myself, then for Stanley Doodrich. That's not good enough. Regen is really nice on armor, but highly unlikely that it's better than massive additional armor class. Oh, is it after leaving a ziggurat on the last level, the others get super hard? Ooh, that's even better. Cool. I like it. They knew you were coming. These I feel like I can comfortably just walk towards. There's nothing that the Convoker can recall, and I can deal with all of those mited at the same time. Ah, Scroll of Holy Word. Another good find. Black Draconian Annihilator. Not too concerned. Nope. Let's get that back online. Yes, you can either leave the ziggurat or climb down the stairs by blinking to the portal. There are some times where all but the most powerful of characters must do that, since there are some ziggurat levels that are just, 40 Pandemonium Lords. Those are pretty difficult to fight your way through. Yeah. Again, highly unlikely that we'll use plate armor because definitely not good enough. Reduces our ability to cast spells. Okay. Gosh, still no Scrolls of Brand weapon, huh? Horse feathers. Ooh, Curse Skull, eh? This is what we do to Curse Skulls in this territory. Actually, it might be better. Gosh, high armor class and evasion. Javelins seem to be doing alright, though. Ooh. Singularity at 14%. Getting there. Let's see how much Gale's Gravitas actually does. I like that it has a chance to confuse everything. actually is not useless. I was considering giving that up. I think that either dispersal or disjunction has to go, but I'm not sure which yet. Boom. I don't know why I'm being this cautious right here. It's good to be cautious in a ziggurat, but the levels are small enough currently that the rooms aren't large enough to contain enough monsters to concern me at this point. Ooh, Grand Grimoire. Huh. I think I need to pick that up. It is one of the few guaranteed sources of Aura of Abjuration. But we have to get to like level 10 summonings first. That's fine though. I mean, we have to get to level 10 summonings before we can even memorize it, so it's taking up an inventory slot until then. But I think that's acceptable. Ooh, a potion of experience. What are we going to leave behind? Some tomahawks. Yeah, I mean, no reason not to. Just keep putting it in there. It's not a very big boost at this point, but still, you know, a couple free monsters. Alright. Using the period key to throw at the monster directly and not through. You won't pierce through if you miss. You're throwing it at the tile, not the direction. Not really of concern. Cool, another potion of cure mutation. Just because there's some times where things are going to get through and mutate us, and there's not much we can do about that. If we get, you know, one of the, like, random rage, we have to drink a potion immediately. It's just too much of a risk. Ooh, a ruined double sword. A vampiric double sword. Well, I mean, it would be better than what we're using. Let's see what the enchantment level is on it. +1. Okay, so we would need a ton of scrolls of enchant weapon, of which we have none, I believe? Yeah, none. So we're going to be wielding our +9 sword, thank you. Flail, we don't care about. Staff of Air, I don't really care about either. We have one outside, so. Outside Pandemonium, I mean. Flayed Ghost, okay. Yeah, it looks like just Vault Denizens for this one. Not too bad. As you can see, the level is slightly larger than last one. Getting rid of the Flayed Ghost first, and then the Etin. We are resistant enough to negative energy that I'm not too worried about the Shadow Dragon, but I still want to take care of it third, because Drain is really rough to deal with in a Ziggurat. Starting a fight with your skills drained is very bad, and there's no guarantee that we would gain enough experience to get them back here with these remaining enemies. Low probability of any of that happening, but, you know, might as well eliminate the variable. Red, gold, gold, food. More enchant armor. I don't know that I need another wand of teleportation right now. I think we're fine there. Glowing Executioner's Axe. We'll pick that up. Oh, do we have our Manual of Axes on us? Is a Glowing Executioner's Axe likely to be enough to make us want to train axes at any point? Probably not. But let's try it out just in case. Okay, no, not good enough. Okay, excellent. Alright, level 8. I imagine we'll want to bow out around level 12. No, well, I imagine I'm going to want to keep going, because I'm very, very greedy, but I imagine that we will, of necessity, be leaving around level 12. Just because we still don't have Singularity safe to cast. Axes are really nice in Ziggurats because this kind of situation tends to happen, but we do have... let's see what good Dispersal does in this particular situation. I feel like this is a safe... Yeah, see, I liked that. I like having that option of just kind of resetting the fight. Seems very strong defensively. And we can also use it to our advantage once we do have Singularity online to blink things into the field, which will be awesome. Who is constricting me? Greater Naga. Okay. Constriction is one of those effects that you do need to keep an eye on, even when you're at this kind of power level. Greater Naga. Okay. Because Constriction just scales up indefinitely. It squeezes you a little tighter each time. And I don't believe you get any bonus for being a gargoyle. I know you still take damage from it. You're certainly not immune. Don't care about hunting slings. There's no possible hunting sling that could tempt me, I don't believe. Oh, I do need to get rid of something. Let's just get rid of these scrolls of enchant armor. I can't use them on anything I'm wearing. I can't really imagine any circumstance in which I'm going to want them. Book of Clouds, don't care. Alright. Do I have any other... I don't really have any other buffs. Except Portal Projectile, I guess, which I can cast going in. It's probably smart. Looks like a home to demons and the undead. Yeah, Portal Projectile being possibly awesome here. Just dropping javelins on their heads. And now that things have fully approached us, we can start bashing them. Getting rid of the thing that can reduce our magic resistance, since I do like our lots of magic resistance. We still have like 2 pips even with a level of that magic resistance reduction. Yeah, I know it's reduced by armor class, but it's still just the indefinite scaling makes it really, really scary. Unless you're saying that it doesn't scale anymore, that it doesn't increase each round, because that would be sweet. I could stop caring about that as much. Ooh, a Book of Battle. Definitely memorizing regeneration immediately. That's one that I've been keeping an eye out for. I don't know. We might want a Song of Slaying. I do kind of like the idea of memorizing it and then dropping this Book of Battle. There's another one in the Orcish Mines that we can buy when we get out if we need to, but for now, Book of the Earth. Don't care about any of this. Oh, need to identify this other deck. Venom. Interesting. Okay. A twitching turquoise ring. That's not bad. Int +5, Dex +3. I don't know that it's good enough to use. Okay, yeah. So it still does scale up, which is the rough part. I will be right back. I have to take a bio break, but I will return shortly. I return. Okay. So this ring, I don't really care about it. I mean, yeah, it might get us Singularity a little bit faster. I mean, we can actually cast Singularity right now, as long as we're not relying on it. We can drop the Vampiric Double Sword as well. I don't think it's going to be as good as the +9. And get rid of one of these Wands of Teleportation. Manual of Stealth, eh? I mean, it's kind of free. If we just do this. Just plunk a few levels into it. Doesn't seem bad. We have a little bit of leeway since this is all kind of free experience. Assuming we don't just die. Ooh, took one too many steps there. Fortunately, I don't think it's going to punish us that badly. Especially since I don't think any of these things, except maybe the Helephant, can even hurt us. Okay. The Hydras, we do need to be aware that we will be chopping their heads off. But I think we're okay. Yeah. Not the scariest. Not the scariest Ziggurat level. I mean, adders, really? And stealth is nice, especially in Pandemonium, where you really have to pick your battles. I mean, it's the difference between the Pandemonium Lord noticing you and the Pandemonium Lord not noticing you. It's kind of a big deal. Ooh, a potion of beneficial mutation. Let us quaff thee. There is an argument to be made for saving some of the potions of beneficial mutation for after you get malmutated and have to cure away all of your mutations so that you don't end up weaker than when you started, but I would rather have the power spike now. We feel genetically stable. Ooh, somewhat resistant to further mutation. That's really nice. That combined with mutation resistance means it's highly unlikely that we will ever have anything bad happen to us. Or good, but, you know. I am glad that they took out the thing where resist mutation would prevent potions of beneficial mutation from working. That was kind of a bummer. Especially since right there I failed miserably in removing my hat. Fabulously ornate robe. That's funny. Could we at some point abandon our armor? We lose 20 armor class? And a pip of negative energy resistance? We can, in theory. Not that I'm going to. But it does mean that we can actually consider... no, I'm not going to be using a robe regardless. Guaranteed damage reduction is just too strong with gargoyles. And robes do not possess any. Looks like Profane Servitor. Yeah. Bunch of negative energy hoopla. Okay, this is where we're going to cast Singularity. Yeah, got it. I think I like it here. Space collapses on itself with a satisfying crunch. And then we can kind of do whatever. I don't know, maybe Lightning Bolt. And then the Singularity just wrecks stuff. Super cool. Might as well read a Scroll of Holy Word here. I'm not too dedicated to keeping those around for actual scary battles. And it frees up some inventory space. We can always find more. Oh, just burning them down. Crushing them. Oh, it's so cool. They just keep getting pulled back in, too. I like this spell. It's fun. It's very fun. See, that's my problem with Discord, is that it doesn't... I mean, I guess it can do damage when they bash each other, but this seems pretty free. Keeps things from getting to you. I think it's a very, very solid addition. Makes translocations something you want to train rather than something you avoid training. Quarterstaff, not likely. Crystal Halberd, also a no. Okay. Alright, so I said level 12. I think we can do level 12. But... minus controlled teleport. Probably Pandemonium Lord? Or several? Maybe just a lot of crazy demons. Trying to get rid of the wretched stars first here so that we don't get too many transient mutations. Fortunately, we managed to resist all of them. Ooh, did not mean to take a step there. That was, oof, that was very bad on my part. Yeah, getting this much in stealth is kind of cool. Let's turn on some other skills, though. I don't think we need to be putting that much into it. We can do this. Yeah, there we go. That seems better. That way I'm progressing with my actual goals at the same time as I am indulging in a manual. Let's slouch here. I really like slouch against the Star-Cursed masses. I think that it's one of the stronger ways to get rid of them quickly. Again, trying to get rid of the wretched stars as quickly as possible. And we can certainly afford another slouch here to polish off those masses. Oh, we did not. This is one of the few situations where you can actually be fast as a follower of Chabritos, is from Clouds of Seething Chaos. You are neither punished nor prevented in your speed. Let's see, what do we have on G? Summon butterflies. Now that can switch with regeneration. Regeneration summon butterflies. Javelins also seem to be doing okay against them. These guys are They're pretty tricky. They stack a lot of damage really quickly if left unchecked. Air magic at level 10, that's kind of cool. What was I doing? Oh, Incunabulum of, I don't think I care about Airstrike all that much. We have another source for it outside, and I don't particularly want to memorize it here, basically, within the Ziggurat, or within Pandemonium. Tome of Flying Damage Dealing. And it doesn't have fly. Poorly named book. Haste we can't use. Spectral Weapon is good, but I don't think we need it here. Manual of Crossbows. I guess there's a non-zero chance that I'll train crossbows at some point. Ooh, another Potion of Experience. See, this is why you do Ziggurats. Because you just get tons of stuff. Oh wait, can we max that out? But I don't know, it might over it. Let's do this. Oh, hold on a second. I love it when I look at my phone and I have a missed call and a text that says, disregard that missed call. It's fun. What if we put it just into translocations? Where are we getting the biggest benefit here? Spellcasting, maybe? We don't really need another spell level right now. Maybe Long Blades. Maybe we should go back to training that. Get a little more damage. That can't be bad. Or dodging. Is there another spell school that we're going to want to train at some point? I don't think we need Firestorm. I think Singularity's got that covered. I mean, line of sight abuses aside, between Singularity and Tornado, I think we're solid. We have a very defensive setup, but I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, summonings. That's what we want to do with this. Nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll put it into whatever we're training right now, which is spellcasting. We'll do it there. Deliberating way too much over this. Ring mail. Not gonna cut it. Not enough armor. Well, but we've got plenty of scrolls. Yeah, bad. Dare we do 13? They seem pretty easy so far. And we do have a lot of defensive measures. I think we can do one more. Were his last words. Yeah, I'm not really intimidated by a room with a slime creature and an Eye of Draining. That's all it's got. Yeah. Let's put it, does it matter if it's here or here? Let's put it here. Oh, right, yeah, we're going to be losing javelins here. maybe it's